Oh, you thought love and hip-hop drama stayed on the screen? Think again. Because this time, the cameras didn't just catch drama, they caught a full-on WWE pay-per-view in real life. I'm talking chairs scraping, fists flying. The internet is officially in meltdown mode. TikTok exploding. Twitter in flames. Instagram a war zone. And your aunt's Facebook group? Oh, they've already picked sides like it's the Super Bowl. So here's the tea. Young Joc and Kirk Frost didn't just exchange a few shady comments during filming. No, they went from passive-aggressive reality TV shade to call the cops. Someone's going to jail in under 60 seconds. And yes, there's leaked footage. Crystal clear, 4K, multi-angle footage. The kind of footage that makes you question whether reality TV is actually scripted or if these people are just like this. But the real question is, what triggered it? Was it money? Was it ego? Or was it something way more scandalous? Oh, buckle up because you're about to find out. Let's get one thing straight right out of the gate. If you have been watching Love and Hip Hop for more than 5 minutes, you already know subtlety is not part of the script and self-control is an optional accessory. But even by reality TV standards, what went down between young Joc and Kirk Frost is in a league of its own. This is not just drama. This is a full-blown blockbuster of scandal, betrayal, and a dash of public violence with enough plot twists to make a telenovela blush. On one side of the chaos, you have young Joc, rapper, radio host, professional meme generator, and a man whose hairstyles could start a whole sociology thesis. On the other side is Kirk Frost, music manager, businessman, and a man who has made a career out of looking like he knows something the rest of us don't. Neither of these two are strangers to controversy. Joc's romantic escapades have been tabloid gold for years, while Kirk's name has been attached to more on-screen infidelity plotlines than anyone has fingers to count. Both know how to feed the machine, but this time the machine bit back. The spark that lit this mess was allegedly a business deal gone south. Anonymous insiders, who might be anyone from set stylists to random people at the craft services table, claim Joc and Kirk were supposed to team up on a lucrative club promotion gig. We are talking fat envelopes of untraceable cash, champagne, bottles as tall as toddlers, and an endless parade of influencers pretending to dance for the camera. But somewhere along the way, Kirk allegedly decided to make it a solo show, slicing Joc out of the deal without warning. If you know Joc, you know he is not the kind to send a polite thank you card when betrayed. Instead, the set became a pressure cooker. For weeks, there were reports of cutting remarks during confessionals, sarcastic laughs during group scenes, and cold stares that could freeze a room mid-laugh. By the time cameras rolled on that infamous day, the tension was so thick you could serve it with a steak knife. The scene was meant to be a casual sit-down in a lounge-style set where the two would talk about future business ventures. The furniture was plush, the lighting soft, the drinks staged to look half-sipped. Joc arrived late, wearing an unreadable expression, and sat directly across from Kirk. They did not speak at first, the silence so loud it was practically its own character. Then Kirk leaned forward and muttered something under his breath, too. Low for the microphones to catch, but loud enough to send Joc's eyes into a slow burn. Joc slammed his hand on the table and told Kirk to repeat himself. Kirk did, this time loud enough for everyone to hear, accusing Joc of acting like he ran things when he did not even own his own name. The room froze. Gasps from crew members cut through the air. Joc stood slowly, voice rising, accusing Kirk of dodging him for 3 weeks. Kirk fired back, calling him a clown. Chairs scraped as both men rose to their feet. Security moved in, but not fast enough. Joc shoved Kirk, sending him back a step. Kirk recovered and lunged forward, fists flying. Suddenly, the set was pure chaos. Furniture toppled, drinks splashed, crew members scrambled to intervene. Rashida screamed Kirk's name over and over, but her voice was drowned by the sound of the brawl. Cameras kept rolling because apparently nothing says quality reality TV like an unplanned fistfight. One camera operator captured the whole thing in crystal clear 4K, while a producer was overheard whispering that this was going to break the internet. It all took a darker turn when Joc reportedly threw a punch that accidentally landed on a security guard. That was the moment the network knew they had crossed from entertainment into liability. Police sirens soon wailed in the background. Within 20 minutes, officers were on set, separating the two into opposite corners of the room. Both looked battered, breathing hard, eyes locked on each other as if daring the other to try something. Officers took statements from witnesses, reviewed footage, and then escorted both men out in handcuffs. The second they were spotted being led to police cars, the leaks began. A 6-second clip of Kirk swinging first appeared online and exploded. Across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, fans went wild. Some insisted it had to be scripted. Others swore it was too raw to fake. Entertainment blogs pounced within minutes, headlines screaming about the love and hip-hop brawl. The Shade Room posted a blurry shot of both men in cuffs, and the comment section erupted into a digital war zone of hot takes. Rashida was spotted outside the police station, visibly distraught, reportedly yelling at producers and threatening to walk off the show if Kirk was not released immediately. Inside the station, Kirk sat with bruised knuckles, telling police he felt threatened and acted in self-defense. Joc, in another room, nursing a busted lip and swollen eye, laughed bitterly, and told officers to ask Kirk why he had been avoiding him for weeks. Mona Scott-Young, not on set at the time, issued a statement to the network that this was not the kind of drama they wanted. She paused all filming indefinitely, but behind closed doors, producers whispered about the ratings gold they were sitting on. By morning, the mugshots were everywhere, fans were picking sides, and hashtags were trending. But just when everyone thought this was the whole story, a second longer clip surfaced, showing a private conversation between Kirk and a producer before the fight. In it, Kirk said he told Mona he was done filming with Joc because he was reckless and sloppy, and hinted he had dirt that could finish him off. The internet caught fire again, and the narrative began to shift. The moment that second clip hit the internet, it was like someone had dumped gasoline on an already raging fire. Fans who had been defending Kirk started to switch sides, while others doubled down on their loyalty, turning the comment sections into battlegrounds. Theories popped up faster than the views could count. People were asking what dirt Kirk could possibly have on Joc, some claiming it had to be financial, others swearing it was something personal that would blow the roof off the show. The wildest theories suggested hidden affairs, shady money moves, even secret recordings that had never seen the light of day. Joc himself saw the clip while sitting in the studio and nearly knocked over his microphone. "This fool been plotting," he muttered to himself, and then called his manager to tell Mona they needed to talk. The tension had shifted from just two men throwing punches to something much bigger, a calculated attack that was now playing out in public like a chess game with millions watching. Mona tried to calm things behind the scenes, but it was like trying to put toothpaste back in the tube. Both men were getting hit with messages from people they had not spoken to in years. Some offering support, others fishing for gossip, and plenty just trying to stir the pot. Kirk was trying to play it cool publicly, but privately he was furious. Then, as if the drama needed another twist, he got a text from a blocked number that read, "You think that was bad? Wait till you see what's coming next." He stared at the phone, unsure whether to be angry or scared, because the tone was not just petty reality TV shade. It felt like a threat. Joc was not spared either. A day later, an unmarked package arrived for him. Inside was a USB drive and a handwritten note that said, "You are not the only one Kirk betrayed." The footage on that drive was worse than he expected. It showed Kirk in meetings with network executives weeks earlier, actively pushing to have Joc's scenes cut from the show. There was no ambiguity. No way to spin it as innocent. This was Kirk openly campaigning to have Joc sidelined. Joc played the clip 3 times in a row, each time getting angrier. Until he slammed his hand on the table and swore out loud that this was not going to be the end of the story. What neither man realized until much later was that the leaks were not random acts of spite. They were carefully timed, calculated releases designed to keep the scandal alive for as long as possible. Someone was feeding the media just enough to keep both Kirk and Joc under fire without letting the outrage fade. Eventually, they started piecing together a pattern. Every leak could be traced back to the same anonymous source. Both men, still refusing to speak directly, began working through intermediaries to try and identify who was behind it. Mona, sensing the situation had spiraled beyond simple ratings bait, started digging on her own. It did not take long for the dots to connect to one name that made perfect sense and no sense at all at the same time. Benzino, the former cast member who had left the show under messy circumstances and held grudges like a professional athlete holds trophies. His exit from the franchise had been explosive, full of accusations against production and thinly veiled threats about exposing the truth. Now it looked like he had finally decided to cash in on those threats. The more Mona dug, the more she realized how deep it went. Benzino had somehow gotten his hands on years of unaired footage, private conversations, and behind-the-scenes moments that were never supposed to leave the editing room. This was not just about Kirk and Joc. This was about everyone in the franchise. Mona knew that if even a fraction of it went public, the fallout could be catastrophic. But before she could figure out her next move, another clip dropped online. This time showing Joc in an unguarded moment, trash-talking Kirk in language so vicious it made the earlier fight look almost polite. Joc was furious, swearing it was taken out of context, but the damage was done. Public opinion swung again. The internet feasting on every twist like it was a serialized drama written by someone with a grudge and unlimited popcorn. Meanwhile, Kirk, still reeling from the threats, started noticing strange things. His emails were glitching. Private conversations he had over the phone were somehow being referenced online by strangers. And one night, he spotted a car parked outside his house that drove away the second he stepped outside. He was starting to realize this was not just about TV beef anymore. This was personal. Joc was in the same boat. His phone began lighting up with calls from unknown numbers that hung up as soon as he answered. Friends started telling him they had been approached by reporters asking strangely specific questions about his finances and past relationships. It was becoming clear that whoever was behind the leaks wanted to destroy both of them completely. Not just their reputations on the show, but their lives outside it. Mona decided enough was enough and arranged a secret meeting with both men, not telling them until the last second that they would be in the same room. The tension was immediate. Neither man said a word at first, just sat there glaring until Mona laid it all out. The leaks, the threats, the anonymous source, the evidence, pointing toward Benzino. Slowly, reluctantly, Kirk and Joc started sharing what they had each received. The pieces fit together almost too perfectly. The USB drive, the blocked number texts, the timing of each leak, all of it pointed to a coordinated campaign. By the time the meeting ended, they both understood they were being played. What they did not know yet was just how far their enemy was willing to go. This was not just about Kirk and Joc. This was about everyone in the franchise. Mona knew that if even a fraction of it went public, the fallout could be catastrophic. But before she could figure out her next move, another clip dropped online. This time showing Joc in an unguarded moment, trash-talking Kirk in language so vicious it made the earlier fight look almost polite. Joc was furious, swearing it was taken out of context, but the damage was done. Public opinion swung again. The internet feasting on every twist like it was a serialized drama written by someone with a grudge and unlimited popcorn. Meanwhile, Kirk, still reeling from the threats, started noticing strange things. His emails were glitching. Private conversations he had over the phone were somehow being referenced online by strangers. And one night, he spotted a car parked outside his house that drove away the second he stepped outside. He was starting to realize this was not just about TV beef anymore. This was personal. Joc was in the same boat. His phone began lighting up with calls from unknown numbers that hung up as soon as he answered. Friends started telling him they had been approached by reporters asking strangely specific questions about his finances and past relationships. It was becoming clear that whoever was behind the leaks wanted to destroy both of them completely. Not just their reputations on the show, but their lives outside it. Mona decided enough was enough and arranged a secret meeting with both men, not telling them until the last second that they would be in the same room. The tension was immediate. Neither man said a word at first, just sat there glaring until Mona laid it all out. The leaks, the threats, the anonymous source, the evidence, pointing toward Benzino. Slowly, reluctantly, Kirk and Joc started sharing what they had each received. The pieces fit together almost too perfectly. The USB drive, the blocked number texts, the timing of each leak, all of it pointed to a coordinated campaign. By the time the meeting ended, they both understood they were being played. What they did not know yet was just how far their enemy was willing to go. So after everything we just uncovered, you have to ask yourself what really goes on behind the glitz and the gossip. Is what we see just harmless entertainment, or are we all being played by bigger forces pulling the strings? One minute Kirk and Joc are the villains of the week. The next, they are pawns in a much larger, dirtier game. And if this can happen to them, with cameras everywhere and millions of people watching, imagine what could be happening in the shadows of your own favorite shows without you ever knowing. That's the kind of truth they don't want you thinking about. But here's the thing, the more people question it, the harder it becomes for these puppet masters to keep control. So tell me in the comments what you think really went down. Was this whole thing a setup from day one, or just a lucky break for the truth to come out? Hit that like button if you want the world to know there's always more behind the scenes. Share this video so others start asking the same questions. And subscribe because the next story I'm working on is even bigger, messier, and way more unbelievable.